Hello, Sonicid here, and today I'm going to be showing you the Retaliator that just went live on the public test universe. I'm going to be showing you the outsides as well as the inside of the ship and talk about what changed from concept all the way to the hangar ready revision that you're going to be seeing here. So sit back and relax, grab yourself a drink, and let's start the show. Now that I'm a bit sober after drinking straight out of that liquor bottle, let's talk about the Retaliator. But first things first, there's a bug in this latest version of the public test universe that puts the VTOL engines in flight mode instead of the upright position when the ship is on the ground. This lifts the ship ever so slightly and prevents the landing gear from touching the ground. Other than that, currently the Retaliator is the largest ship that we can walk inside the game. As you can see, if I go to third person, how size comparison it is to me. It is 71 meters in length. Initial concept stats had it about 50 meters, so it was lengthened a great deal. The Retaliator is the first ship that's released using the latest shipbuilding techniques from Cloud Imperium Games. It was gray box inside. This is similar to what you would do when building a large level. From my understanding, this technique allows the greatest amount of detail possible inside the ship. All other crew ships will be going through this process. Capital ships, for one, have been using this technique, and the Cutlass is being done as we speak. Lastly, going forward, Retaliator is going to be the test bed for multi-crew gameplay. So enough of that, let's go ahead and walk around the ship. Going in third person mode, you can just see the size difference. Here's the wing, and it has a little slot you can kind of see running through there. So when it's in space, the wings do tuck in, and then when it's in atmosphere, it will spread its wings out. Same goes to these larger back wings. If I can go over here real quick. These wings too will go inward and to tuck in when it's in space, and then extend out when you're in atmosphere. And you can see the part that does the mechanics for that. VTOL engines when it's in flight mode. You can see right there. A look of it from this view. Landing gears, you can see it's sort of lifted up a bit, and the gun turret. And you got a similar one right here as well that covers the back. Alright, moving on. The wing also has turrets for the sides. And here is the cruise engines. And size comparison to me versus that. So it's about like 2 people tall and a half. and I believe this is a exhaust port thruster, possibly. You can kind of see this part when I'm talking about the tip. Okay, that's the outside look of the ship. Let's talk about the changes from concept to hangar ready and what changed on throughout the course of development. Alright, you should be able to see a concept art of the Retaliator when it first was brought in for everyone to see. As you can see, the top turret, forward turret, was sitting more closely to the cockpit area, but that changed to the position it is now. And that position used to be where the HUD globe was. So in order for the Retaliator to have the greatest amount of coverage, the gun had to move up to that position instead of the very top part of the cockpit area. Because as you see, the Retaliator sort of swoops downward, and the guns won't be able to do a 360 turn to attack the enemy other than having the guns be angled. So that's one of the changes. And in this particular image, you see here the underbelly of the Retaliator. You had both bottom guns very close to each other and sort of offset. And the reason for that is the change was because it didn't provide, again, enough coverage to protect the ship. If you have a gun that's way far back here in the front, it's not going to be able to take care of the back because you have so much blind spot there to only hit stuff. And we're missing two of the VTOL engines shown in this concept art, where those middle VTOL engines would actually swoop upward, and there would be doors that lift from the very top to accommodate the engines, so it tucks inside the ship and out to the back. But since this turret is here, the spot that it should be at they don't have the engines there now, and that's because that turret needed to be in a spot where where a person can get into. So that's that. And oh yeah, you have the landing gears. Original concept art right here had the landing gears sort of thinner, not as thick or beefed up. And then you had the back ones, they were spread apart. So you had one originally here where it's at right now, and then you had this one right here. That was, according to the art, it was on this part. That was held. And I believe you had two in the back, but I'm not sure. But you definitely have this extra one here, and then those two are grouped up. So it does feel like the ship weighs a ton, and you need the extra support to hold the ship upright. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and go inside the ship and talk about what's inside there. Okay, now let's go ahead and go inside the ship. There are a total of 4 ways to get inside the ship, but 2 of them don't currently work, and I'm assuming it's only active when you're in space, docked to something, or need to access the outer part of the ship. And one of those doors are this airlock right here, and then the one on the ceiling. I'm assuming the ladder will swoop down and you'll be able to access something outside when you're in space, and then close back up when you're done. But the two access points that do work currently are the elevators on each side of this airlock. So let's go ahead and use this one to access the inside of the ship. Alright, this is sort of the main junction area where it splits off to different areas of the ship. We have the rear of the ship right here, and then we have the forward parts of the ship right here. Now the back part kind of does a loop, so if you go through this door and you go from other end, and it'll loop down and come back to this door. And then here, this doesn't do a loop. This actually takes you to the bathroom area, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then this takes you to the main bomb bay room. And then this door goes around the bomb bay room and then gives you access to the upper floor and then to the cockpit room and the bottom gun turret in the front. So let's start in the back. Now these lockers don't, it doesn't have any animation or any way to access it now. But this had a door that was closed, but I had left it open. And this room, I'm assuming it must be the engineering room, and a way to also launch the rear torpedoes. There's no way to get in that particular room currently. I guess it's only accessible if these doors in the bottom open up. But that's all there is in this room. I'm not quite sure what it is right now until I actually see the brochure that once the ship comes to the live server. And here's the inner portions of this rear bomb bay. And this door takes you to a turret room that's sort of fixed closer to the wings. You see right there. And then you would have a chair that goes down. You'd be able to sit on it, and then it'll lift you back up, and you'll be able to use the turret. Alright, and here's where it starts looping to the other side. This area from the concept art was originally, I guess, might have been the engineering room, and then it looked like there was a gun turret that went to the very top here. But since the changes of the ship, this is just a room for only the bottom rear gun turret. And how it's faced outside, it looks like you sit upside down. So I'm assuming this whole area right here has no gravity, in my assumption. And this room is the same as the opposite side. It's sort of the turret that's closer to the wing. And we can see the rear bomb bay room. And this leads you to that one smaller room. Alright, so we have looked in the very back of the ship. Let's go ahead and use this door right here. This is the bathroom area, and it only gives you 4 lockers, and you have a total of 6 crew. So 2 of the people have to carry their stuff with them at all times, possibly, I guess. In the shower. None of this works. I'm assuming maybe when we get this Retaliator into life, game, we'll be able to access some of these buttons. So that's that for this bathroom. And then if we take, let's actually go to the Bombay room, main Bombay room. These seem to be the longer torpedoes, very long. And I think when they were showing the gray boxing video and pictures, I thought this room connected to the opposite side too as well, but they sealed this off. I'm assuming they sealed this off so you won't be able to just go from this door to the next. And how this setup works, after the torpedo drops, I'm assuming this goes counterclockwise and loads the next torpedo, and this actually magnetically grapples it. And the controls are here. I'm assuming these are the controls. Alright, let's go ahead towards where the cockpit is, the upper floor, or the upper deck, and the medic room. Now, fortunately, the ladder does not work, so I have to do a trick in a little bit to get up here, and I'll show you the upper floor after, when I do that. This is the bottom turret, forward turret, and if this was the original concept design, you will also have the upper front turret right here, but since that's changed to give you more coverage, they had to swap where that location was with the HUD globe. And original concept design had a room for what they called the apartment module. However, this is a military ship, so you didn't necessarily need a apartment module. This is all focused for war, so you need a medical bay. And this is what I assume this is for a minor, for medics, or for the med bay. Minor patching and whatnot. Maybe he's sick, you just lay right there, and then you take him back to a major facility to heal that person. And then behind that wall, that's where the shower is. So that's that for this room. And let's go to the cockpit area. Now, I'm not sure. The original concept design had it to where this thing actually had a bigger back portion to it, like a canopy, and I would assume it closed in on you and act like its own ejection seat and slash escape pod, so you can survive in space for a sort of a short-term ordeal. And I'm not sure if these open up. It has these arrows here, or maybe that's just telling you the seat goes that far back. And then the introduction video to the Retaliator had this seat face you, and you sit on there, and it'll swing towards where the controls are and then push you in. But that looks like it's changed, so I'll show you what's up. So it just goes back, you sit in it, and then it pushes you forward, and you have your controls. And the arm, you can't see the arm move or anything, so it just has that animation. That's it. Now, it would be nice how this would work in Arena Commander, because right now the smaller ships don't take advantage of all the control panels. I'm assuming that's just because it's an alpha and just kind of throwing you something in front, so you have a visual idea what's going on. And we'll work on the mechanics for the panels a little bit later. But I'd like to see how that would work, because this thing's pretty big, and I would like to have all my information on this screen instead of having what you see now in the Arena Commander. Yeah, it looks pretty awesome. So let me exit out of here. And let's go ahead and go up to the upper deck. Okay, we're back and on the upper deck, which is B deck, and we're looking down towards A deck. This is the only access port to the upper deck, but unfortunately the ladder was bugged, so I had to use a trick to get up here to show you guys. If I lift my head ever so slightly, this window faces forward. If this was the concept design, just past this window you would have seen the top forward turret, and then right here would have been the HUD globe. But since the changes to from the concept to hangar ready, they put the turret right here, and that's to provide the best coverage for your Retaliator. So that's why the HUD globe no longer sits here. But if we continue moving forward, this is the armory room. There's no animation for me to press buttons so you can see different changes in the armory, or different like weapon loads out or whatnot. And just past here is where everyone sleeps in your crew. There's a total of 3 beds each side, and unfortunately since it slants downward, it cannot provide additional beds to make it a total of 8 for the crew, as what the concept stats mentioned, having 8 total people. So there's a total of 6 due to that. If this was the original design, the hypersleep beds would have been where around the area where the lobby was, and it would have been facing more like this way, and it would have been more like a Japanese capsule like hotel bedding area. But other than that, this is all I have to show you on the Retaliator. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and thank you for watching.